How does somebody end up in every explosive conversation while still looking untouchable? And why does it always feel like the loudest exposés somehow circle back to the quietest guy in the room? This Part 2 narrative doesn't start with new footage or a smoking gun. It starts with energy, raw, personal, and heated, where Jay-Z is compared to Sean Diddy Combs and accused of moving arrogant, acting above everyone, and using industry power to squeeze people who don't fall in line. None of that is proven in court, but the point is the threat. If you thought the first wave was messy, the next wave is being teased like it's bigger, sharper, and aimed higher, and that's where things get tense. Then it flips into a weird little moment that sticks in your head, the "nobody's afraid" line. Because if nobody asked, why say it at all? The commentary leans into that contradiction, how Jay can present as calm, polished, even safe, and still trigger decades of paranoia about what happens behind the scenes. Here's the part people miss. Sometimes the cleanest image is the best armor. And once that idea lands, the story stops feeling like a simple beef. It gets framed like two completely different playbooks, one built on noise and pressure, the other built on consolidation and control. The rivalry becomes a symbol, not a scoreboard. And just when you think it's all philosophy, the outside voices start making bolder claims.
Jay-Z, you're just like Diddy. I can't stand your arrogant, condescending attitude. Nicki posted a video of you wearing a pink wig, and I retweeted it. Nothing more. You deserved it. Everyone knows about our feud. It's been going on for over 20 years. I've seen all your manipulation in the industry, from power struggles to cultural control. In 2015, when Tidal launched, Nicki helped you build it from nobody to a successful platform, and you immediately pocketed her $7.9 million in royalties. Lil Wayne was qualified for the Super Bowl, but you kicked him out of personal grudges. How is that any different from Diddy forcing his artists to sign unfair contracts? Just because Nicki didn't align with him, he resorts to this kind of suppression. You're truly despicable. What's even more interesting is that right after I showed him and his father's photo in the documentary Sean Combs: The Reckoning, you immediately had your lawyer send me a warning letter saying I overstepped my bounds. When you wrote the lyrics to exonerate Diddy back then, why didn't you think about today? You say the film is malicious slander, but why don't you dare sue me for defamation? Because all the evidence I have is true. I haven't finished reporting the witnesses in my documentary, and I haven't released all the title profit sharing documents. If you know what's good for you, pay back what you owe Nicki with interest. Don't wait until I make Jay-Z Reckoning 2, by which time even Beyonce's PR team won't be able to save you.
Jay goes, let's get it straight. Nobody's afraid of 50 Cent.
I want everyone to be clear. No one's scared of 50 Cent.
At that point, his safe presentation, even the glasses, what the glasses represent? Intelligence, right? A nerd, maybe. What are some of the things that come along with you being a nerd? Like, don't hit a guy with flowers. He's not identifying with the transition difference and the perception of Jay-Z. Now he's really safe, and people feel comfortable with him because they know he's not going to do anything inappropriate or try not to. Meanwhile, when he's saying he's not afraid of 50 Cent, why would you have to make that clear when no one's ever asked me?
When the clip ends, the narration snaps back to the machine itself. How gatekeeping doesn't have to look like a public feud. It can look like distribution, radio, timing, and access. It's not saying this is confirmed. It's saying this is how the fans believe the game gets played. And once you see it that way, the next headline hits harder.
He is close, even though Jay lawyer came out and said it not.
Because Jay-Z and Puff was given an assignment. And that was to destroy East Coast rap. And what I mean by that, and I know people gonna be like, yo, Gene is out of his mind and everything like that. Check this out, brother. Is that New York rappers was getting 80 to 100, 800 to 1.2 million, or some larger than that, and sign with labels back then. And they was getting a lot of money to make albums and records. When they had guys down south that these labels was paying $250,000, $300,000 on record deals, and these guys was bringing back platinum albums and everything like that. So what they had to do was they had to keep New York rappers down. That's one reason, other than the Irv Gotti that 50 was going through and the poison they was putting in about 50, he had to go elsewhere to California or with Jay and not with Dre and Eminem to get a deal. They did not want East Coast rappers to get big. They were suppressing all new artists that was coming out of New York. Jay and Diddy was doing that. That's why when I heard your story, because I knew this for a long time, but when I heard Dame Dash that Jay wouldn't sign off on nothing, Jay wouldn't do this and Jay would that, because he couldn't let a Cameron blow up. He couldn't let an East Coast rapper like Beanie Siegel blow up. Because him and Diddy was giving that deal, we got to keep these East Coast rappers down. Because down south rappers, Cash Money, No Limit, Ludacris and them, they was taking little money and bringing back more money and making more money for them. So the record labels, I wouldn't say they was going to lose off the...
Now the narration turns into a colder question. What if popularity is sometimes assembled, not discovered? The script hints that alignment with media and marketing can manufacture consensus, and the charts can measure access as much as demand. But then it pivots fast, because the next beat isn't about numbers, it's about consequences. It raises the biggest connection people argue about, Jay-Z and Diddy, not as a courtroom conclusion, just as a public pattern. It leans on reported controversy and internet speculation, then points at real-world moments that fueled it, like Jay-Z being named in a refiled civil lawsuit tied to Diddy, Jay-Z denying it forcefully, and the accuser later withdrew the claim with prejudice. That withdrawal doesn't prove innocence or guilt by itself, but it did supercharge the online storm, and that's exactly why it gets used as an open loop.
When Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyoncé. Mm-hmm. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those fucking trophies, trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and right, man. I mean, look, if you look at his career,
You're gonna let him say that? Jay was getting Grammys.
He had one.
Exactly.
He had one.
And he ain't show up.
He had like 20 now.
Hold on.
He had like 18 since he been down. Look, he had one, bro. Hard Knock Life.
Hold on. You're not wrong.
He was one. He got them shits. He's like drinking. His pictures with him like fucking things the cup.
Wait a minute. So you're saying the success is derived from the marriage?
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades. Because he's no longer viewed as what, like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's.
Oh, wow.
Right? You were connected to the biggest.
Jay got it for the music. Jay got it for the music.
You didn't see.
He deserved those.
I'm sitting there, it was like this, like Black excellence. They're sitting there like, yeah. It's the billionaire brunch. Like,
I hate you, man.
Unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm gonna be with you niggas this year. Yeah. Come on, bro.
That's crazy. That's crazy. He just looking at his watch during the whole Rock Nation, bro. Is it 3:30?
Yeah, it's almost time to get out.
What the fuck is that?
Yo, I feel like I'm normal again. Get me out of here.
Oh, wow. So that's the deal he signed, huh?
Yeah, that's the deal. Like, the other ones didn't count as much as that.
Now the narration hits the permission idea. How the biggest stages can look like celebration, but still operate like someone has to sign off. The Super Bowl angle gets framed as a gate, not a trophy, and it connects to backlash around Rock Nation's NFL role and the way halftime decisions keep reigniting claims of behind-the-scenes influence. Even the partnership getting extended becomes part of the story people tell, whether that interpretation is fair or not.
Divorce Jay-Z as soon as possible because I'm ready to shoot a documentary about Jay-Z, and I guarantee it will outgross Diddy's documentary. If Beyoncé sends me a legal letter on behalf of Jay-Z, I remind her to stay quiet. This is a dispute between men, and she has no right to interfere. I have to let everyone see the true face of Jay-Z. Jay-Z and Diddy have been longtime friends, and their business dealings never stopped. He frequently attends Diddy's parties, so why do people think he's innocent? Jay-Z and Diddy got involved in the same case in 2024, where a victim claimed she was assaulted by both Jay-Z and Diddy. I remember Jay-Z saying these were all rumors and that he was defending Diddy. But ironically, Diddy got arrested in 2025. And there's enough evidence to count his crimes on one hand. I've known him for 20 years, and I know how many bad things they've done behind the scenes. After Jay-Z founded his company, he repeatedly got into copyright disputes. In 1999, he was convicted of third-degree assault and served time in prison. He was unfaithful to Beyoncé, and he was caught by Beyoncé's sister. I think everyone has seen the footage of him getting beaten up in the elevator. I've already gathered the evidence, and I'm going to give Jay-Z.
Before I forget this, we talked about Jay. Proximity to Diddy. You don't think he knew anything? He's seemingly around Diddy.
I don't know. That was a real suburb question.
I know, right? Proximity.
And the proximity.
Proximity. That's the SAT hit parade word. I had to learn that.
Do you think he fucking knew all of the shit that was going on? Then that was like a...
I don't want to incriminate myself.
I know, but the way you said it...
Like I said...
No matter how you answer that shit, you snitching.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a nice kind of question.
You asked the question like a fan.
Hey, I grew up with white people, but one thing I know is how to get a black guy in trouble.
But it's a great question.
Yo, just give him the Happy Meal before you ask him to snitch, bro.
You said, damn, they wasn't even drinking.
Speaking of, how the hell you pronounce
Leshimendua.
Okay.
It's the King's Path.
King's Path.
Because I know Branson. That's the one I pronounce.
Branson. That's the Branson lifestyle. You're going to be outside.
Biff, you're not worried that if you throw little and you don't throw out allegations, but like you kind of poke fun at them.
You just ask questions.
You're not worried that it comes back your way? Like people dig up your past and try to pull stuff up?
I don't got that shit in my past. I'm not.
Everybody got a little bit.
Look,
like, it's real enough.
I took a pill, but it was for me to perform better. For her to remember, buddy. I didn't fucking give her a drink so she forget what the fuck happened. What the fuck is going on here, bro? Yes, I took the drug. I gave me the fucking drug to perform. So she can remember and possibly love me for that.
Did it work?
What the fuck? Yo, bro, look, I'm doing pretty good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but I'm just saying, you said it's the opposite of normal shit that we're talking about, bro.
That is why. I don't know why it's so hard for people
so
just
for people to feel like you
weird.
would have something or you would have...
Now it zooms out and gets personal again. Proximity versus mystique. One model is visible, cracking jokes, taking hits in public. The other stays distant, insulated, almost untouchable. And the narration doesn't claim one is evil. It asks which one survives longer when the cultures start demanding answers. Because the quieter you are, the more space people have to fill in the blanks. And that's when rumors multiply.
Do you need anything? None of the people that have vocalized that another man, and to me, again, that whole conversation has been feminine. But if you're going to say some like that, you should have actually done something to help the problem. But I never got the call from Ray saying, do you need anything? And anyone else that I've ever given, paid a bill, paid their rent, paid their college, any dollar, not one person, and I don't want them to, because they know I'm all right. But not one person has called and said, yo, could I send you something to help? But I don't need the help. But if you're going to talk about it, be about it. But to me, that's just a jab when you tell and promote a false narrative and say that I'm in such a bad place that another dude should help me. And that my tail's in between my legs to the extent because of a lawsuit that I would actually take that money. I'm a man. I don't want nobody to give me nothing but the opportunity to do what I got to do. And I don't see no opportunity. I don't want to perform for the Super Bowl. I'm not all right with the NFL. I'm still mad it ain't no black owners. We went from kneeling to being happy when we could perform for them. That wasn't what I was about. I was about ownership of our own league and taking pride in that. I'm not a court jester for everybody else to get good ratings. I know what we're being used for, and I'm not cool with that. So it's a big deal is to jump on a stage for a bunch of white owners? No, that's embarrassing to me. It's a spectacle. They're laughing at us. Like being patted on the back by another culture is not how I judge my success. Only person that has the audacity to pat me on my back is my family. And they better, I'd be like, you better chill out. I don't want no pats on the back. I don't play that. I'm not in the patty pat club. On no level.
I feel you. But speaking of the NFL, I know right now Nicki Minaj, she calling out Jay. And I know Colin Kaepernick's wife, she called out Jay saying that, Jay did her husband wrong. But I don't know. I don't know the backstory behind that, man. But I know it's going, viral right now on social media. But I do want to ask you, how do you feel about the NFL right now in general?
It's funny. She's cool with my wife, Rocky.
And then it drops the branding layer. Jay-Z and Beyoncé as a fusion of personal life and strategic expansion. Supporters call it natural evolution. Critics call it a shield that can soften scrutiny at the exact moments scrutiny gets loud. Not proven, not a verdict, just the lens the commentary uses to explain why some reputations feel protected. Here's where it gets messy. Love can be real and branding can still exist at the same time.
This is people that are looking on separation between their hardships or their the things that they got going on that would be issues and what a celebrity's issues would be.
Wait, what is that?
They think all celebrities are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. And when you see, if I wasn't saying anything, guess what? You could safely say that a person on the outskirts that is not involved in hip hop culture could think that everybody in hip hop culture is with that shit.
So by you, you're good, bro. You're fucking good.
Yeah.
He's protecting hip hop.
Yeah.
If you don't speak out and make them the weirdos, then they're going to think everybody's
Every
like
single
that.
person is like that involved in hip hop culture.
Makes you think, did Jay do it?
Shut up. He's in trouble. We live in New York, bro. No. We live here.
No, free Jay-Z.
I'm just saying. Shout out Mufasa. We all gonna go and support. We can all see. You are crazy. That was the craziest thing. I literally.
What's the lady at Rock Nation? I gotta send her that.
You don't feel like that happened the same day, bro. What's the day came out the day before, the next day?
I was eating Raisin Bran. Okay, I'm eating Raisin Bran. I got my daughter in my arm. I'm scrolling, right? I see somebody screenshot your shit is Jay and the whole family at the Mufasa Fair. And then the comment is 50 said, Jay said, they said I the 13-year-old. Let's go watch Mufasa.
Everybody get dressed. We're going to see Mufasa right now. I just think it was a good look, like angling yourself as
a family man.
Yes.
But they had to go to the premiere,
that
bro.
was planned already.
They had to go to the premiere.
And I realized that later, but I'm just saying to you, I haven't seen him in a long time. That's all I'm saying. When I hadn't seen him in a long time, and then I heard this shit, and then I looked and I saw Mufasa, I said, whoa. That's all that's fucking happen, bro. You think this is at my phone? This is my phone. This is happening at real time. I'm going, yo. He said, yo.
You just gotta say everyone gets these jokes, bro. That's what you gotta say.
Yeah, no.
Rappers, listen, comedians are rappers, bro. That's
why
the
do
thing.
people come to my page?
That's true.
I know what I'm saying.
You know what they say? Well, you don't think you're gonna happen next? Yeah, that's what they said to me, buddy. Well, you're next, buddy. You're fucking, you laugh.
The narration bridges into a darker idea. Legacy isn't only built by hits, it's curated through fashion, business identity, and public alignment. It asks whether the public can truly separate the person from the machine when both move together. And right as that question hangs, the next outside voices pile in.
You don't got nothing.
I don't have it.
Nah.
There's no girls gonna come out.
Why you sound skeptical?
Because I think there are some women that are like, I think there's some women that are like,
this guy's supposed to be from Queens, bro.
Let me
come fucked up experience.
You kick him off the corner one time.
No. What I'm saying is I know a couple of exes that fucking throw me under the bus.
You should let him have the corner. None of this would have happened if you let him have the corner. Would have been fine.
you know, there's some like opportunists.
They'll
just throw out the fucking.
But that's what I'm saying. So you had to have something. Look, if you already interacted with the person, right, and you hadn't had a bad experience, it would take more for them to say some of the shit that you see these people say. Right? Like, you go, what made you do? What made you, even when we part ways, and because a lot of times when we interact with people, they're not just having fun for tonight. They think we're leading into this hardcore relationship that may not materialize. Right? So I see what you're saying, where they can look and go, well, look, you met the girl in 2003. You hung out with her. You had a good time after the show with 30 girls there. You just went and y'all hung out, right? And y'all just part ways. Right? So there's no negative things between it. But she look up at the TV now, and you've been a success since then. Feel like that's my life. I was supposed to be there. And be upset with you and say something. But will it have any merit to it?
If I got keep
that
real,
woman hasn't been in
you ain't always have the most amicable breakups. Do you remember where, I think it's your baby moms, where it's like she was kind of speaking out, and then all of a sudden the house just got burnt down.
Yeah, but it happens. Left eye. She burned the house down.
This nigga is crazy. That's what I was saying.
No, my God, he goes, wow. So I know how you feel about me now. No, he's going, he's great. So he saw me right the match.
I want my block back.
He goes, look, I have faith in our just justice.
I'm a civilian now.
There will be consequences connected to those behaviors and actions that this brother is talking about.
Oh my goodness, man.
Why is that a part of his thought process today while we're here having a good time?
That's a good ass point.
Look, you do have people that really, look, when you break up with them, they don't care about you anymore.
Yeah.
So they'll say things and you go, yeah, but it doesn't hold merit. It doesn't have any real.
Yeah, of course. After all these years and you don't see nothing.
The girl that's just upset with you. She's just angry with you.
The narration reframes Diddy again, not as a lone villain in a story, but as part of a wider access system, where relationships and platforms matter as much as talent. It doesn't claim the system is criminal, it claims the system is powerful. And once access becomes currency, silence becomes a price tag.
The smartest thing Jay said in the statement was, if you really believe this happened, then press criminal charges. He said, pull up.
But I don't think that was...
Tell me.
Okay, look. Because of the statute of limitation, there is no criminal.
So it's
so making a statement is to make people feel like...
But apparently if she's under 18, didn't you say it still could be criminal? Yeah. He knows he's fed.
He used to be a cop. So you turned him into a cop. He used to sell drugs and then he became a police officer. Did you know that?
You said how to rob.
Glorified security.
But you know what he would do? When they would arrest G-Unit guys, he would be like, yes. And he was in the court.
Every time.
I was actually the cool one. I'll give you the extra fucking cheese sandwiches and shit like that. I'll be looking out.
Take care of the family.
Hey, I don't know, man. I think, what's the name? I get confused too. When you look at this shit, it's a lot. It's a lot of confusing information, right? But I think when you do point out that, why didn't you file criminal cases? Because you can't. It's over 20 years old. This was 2000, bro.
No, but I think if it's a minor,
when they're saying this is happening, I'm not even 50 Cent yet.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You see what I'm saying? Like, this is that far back.
Yeah.
So it's like, it didn't even take place at that point.
That's the summary in one breath. Favors, silence, selective opportunity. Careers shaped long before the audience hears the record. Not a courtroom argument, more like a warning about how power can hide inside normal business decisions. And then, right on cue, the story pivots from dominance to accountability.
I'm saying, Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit. Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough.
It ain't real life. Real life street star. You know what time it is.
So why does it all come to a head now? Why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time. Like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing shit different. He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
Yeah, shout out D. Haven. He actually hit us up, wanted to tell this story.
You need to talk to D. Haven.
Yeah, we need to talk to him.
I told you that last year when I put you on the phone with him.
You did.
I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him. And so he could level up Beyoncé, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other.
Here's the one confirmed flashpoint that keeps resurfacing in these conversations. In 1999, Jay-Z pled guilty in an incident involving producer Lance Rivera and later received probation through a plea deal. Years later, Rivera publicly claimed Jay-Z wasn't the person who actually stabbed him, which turned an old case into a new debate because disputed history always gets relitigated online.
You knew Jay personally, right?
Know him, been around him a couple of times, bro. Been around him a few times, but I didn't know him. You know him as I'm sitting down and I'm breaking bread, eating off, eating a meal around him and shit like that, laughing, talking, and joking like that. I've been around Jay-Z, and one time I wanted to knock his head off, because he was being disrespectful, but he didn't know he was being disrespectful because he ain't that type of dude. You understand what I'm saying?
What happened?
We was in Cancun and he had a personal assistant from my block named Laura. And he had brought like 3 people to the club. He had brought like 6 people to the club with him, and he was only supposed to get 3 people in. I was running the door at Daddy-O's from Industry Entertainment. They just told me Jay-Z only get 3 people in. You understand? So I'm at the door. I said, yo, Jay, you good? And 3 of your other good, but the other 3 got to pay. So then he said, Laura, handle him. And at that time, the type of dude I was, you couldn't tell no woman to handle me. You understand? When I'm talking to you as a man. So then I said, who you talking to like that? You telling her to handle me? You understand? And then me and him, he didn't say nothing. He just turned to the side. And if he'd have turned back around, he'd have got his head knocked off. But Laura told me, yo, Gene, please, Gene, you gonna make me lose my job. You know what I'm saying? And because 1, she was beautiful, 2, she's from our block. You understand? I wasn't going to do that to her. You understand? So I gathered myself, stepped away from the situation, and then the promoter said Jay can let his people come in. You know what I'm saying? But he was being disrespectful. This is the same dude that Harlem cats used to laugh at and joke at. Even we was out there that time, he came to Cancun and he had a fake Versace shirt on, and they was ripping. I mean, they was ripping him. I know he's a billionaire now. He can wear whatever he got. He got $10 million watches and shit like that. But we talking about back then. You understand? We still have those stories from back then. And it's good that a brother could uplift himself. And that's why he's the type of person that he is, because he knew how guys used to treat him. That's why you could see him trying to sun people based on somebody who gets in that type of situation. You understand? This dude had the same cream deli silk shirt that I had. Now, cream deli cream shirts were fake printed Versace shirts. They were nice. You pay $45 for them, but you can't wear that around Harlem Cat. You understand what I'm saying? Not if you in the rap industry. At that time, they used to have diamond testers. You understand? They'll roll up on the cat, and if your diamond don't beat, you understand? They'll talk about you. Snatch your chain off or whatever like that. So he had the fake cream deli cream shirt on, and they was roasting him. I think I seen him in a black t-shirt from that point on in Cancun the whole time he was there. Yo, let me just tell you something. When dudes from Harlem got something on you, bro, and they joking you, they at it. They gonna stop until somebody with some power or somebody with some money say, yo, give that dude a break. Give him a break. So Dame probably used to let him get him in a little bit, but then when Dame was like, yo, my man, let my man live. Let him live. They probably back up off of him or stuff like that. But they was joking, they was talking and stuff like that. And cause you just don't do that. You don't come to no major event with nothing fake or phony on. Not at all. Unless the only way you could get away with something fake or phony on if it was Dapper Dan. If it was a Dapper Dan special.
And the final segment leans into rumor-heavy territory, claims about relationships, identities, and behind-the-scenes setups that are not proven in court and should be treated as disputed talk, not facts. But the impact is the point. Once an audience is primed to believe power moves in silence, even shaky claims feel possible, and that's why these stories spread faster than corrections ever will. So, when the dust settles, the question isn't just who's right, it's this. If silence really is a form of currency in hip-hop, who decides when a story finally becomes too expensive to keep buried, and what would it take for you to believe the next chapter is real?